Okay, we're going to go over lesson 68 like we did in class, and it's about complex fractions. So here's a complex fraction, 1 over x all over 1 minus 1 over x. So we want to simplify this complex fraction. And the first thing that we have to do is we have to look if in either the numerator or the denominator, if we have a plus or minus sign connecting two things. The top does not. So it is all set. The numerator is all set. It is already in the form of a fraction, one fraction. We want to try to get the numerator and the denominator into one fraction. So right now here we have 2. We have a fraction plus a whole number, but we want to change this into a fraction. So what we need to do is we're going to look at just the denominator right now, and we are going to find a common denominator between these two terms, this first one, number 1, and 1 over x, so that we can add them together and form one fraction. So 1 is like 1 over 1 minus 1 over x. We're looking for a common denominator, which would be x. So we're going to change 1 over 1 and find out what we have to do to make the denominator equal x. So if we multiply the denominator by x, we need to multiply the numerator by x. So now we have x over x minus 1 over x. And now we can combine these like terms and make that equal to x minus 1 over x. So now we can put this in for this, and then we can finish the problem. We have 1 over x minus 1 over x. Now, way back in the beginning of the semester, I mentioned that this line in a fraction, it's good to remember that that means divided by. So this, in a sense, is saying 1 over x divided by x minus 1 over x. When you divide by a fraction, it's the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So we have 1 over x times the reciprocal of this would be x over x minus 1. And now the x's cross off. We can cancel the x's, which leaves us with just 1 over x minus 1. So that would be how you would simplify this complex fraction. We're going to try one more, because I think we did that one actually in class. So we're going to try a over b plus 1 all over x over b plus 4. X over b plus 4. Now if we notice in this complex fraction, both the numerator and the denominator have two terms in them. They're being added. And if you remember, we're wanting to try to get just one simple fraction on both the denominator and the numerator. So we're going to look at just this first, a over b, and if we change 1 into a common denominator of b, that turns into 1 turns into b over b. So now that they have a common denominator, we can add them. So the numerator in the fraction becomes a over b over b. A plus b over b. Now we're going to take care of the denominator. We're going to also turn this one into the common denominator of b. 4 is the same as 4 over 1. We want it to have the common denominator of b. We multiply 1 times b to get b, so we have to multiply 4 times b, which would make it 4b. So we're going to add 4b over b, which then we can just simply add the numerators and put that over the common denominator. Now we can look and change to put these back in for the original complex fraction. So a plus over b plus 1 became a plus b over b all over, we're going to put x plus 4b over b. Remember that this sign means divided by. So we have a plus b over b divided by this. But when you divide by a fraction, it's the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So we need to switch the numerator and the denominator around, giving us b over x plus 4b. Now when we multiply, we can cross off the b's, which simply leaves us a plus b over x plus 4b. And that's the answer. That's how you simplify complex fractions. First, you turn the numerator and the denominator into one simple fraction, and then do the division.